I think should be coming up right
Okay. Hello. Let's continue. Um, okay, so I was trying to explain the Translate Wiki, right? What the Translate Wiki does. I said it helps us to translate a lot of words to our own local language. So we also have what we call the Wikimedia Commons. So the common deals with pictures, audios, and video record used in Wikipedia and other branches of Wikimedia project. So a whole lot of this work that we are doing, even the press, like the newspaper, the press, right? That is where they get some of their pictures from, and some of their information are gotten from Wikipedia. So Wikipedia now, by virtue of its existence, is not a primary source of information. It's not a secondary source, but it's a tertiary source where we gather information from a lot of journals, a lot of documentations. We summarize them, and then we cite those things as our sources where we got the information we summarize on Wikipedia, right? So Wikipedia actually is not something that you just go and then assume something new. We deal on facts and figures. So my name is Kuyet, that's true. But when it comes to visibility or notability, how many people know me as Kuyet? Where is it written in the public domain online that my name is Kuyet? So all of these are function of things that we look out for. So when editing Wikipedia, there are a whole lot of things to look out for. But when it comes to the translation, it's actually made easy for for all of us. Now, sorry. So when the speakers of a language can translate the language words on Translate Wiki before obtaining a Wikipedia domain, website in that very language, speakers of that very language will first need to run a test Wikipedia. Now, by creating articles in that very language, that very place where this is done is called the Wikimedia Incubator. So our work today, we are going to be working concurrently, both on the Translate Wiki and the Wikimedia Incubator. So we'll be working side by side. But the Translate Wiki now is not meant for everybody here. It's not for all of us. It's for people who actually understand the language very well. Because the words you put on the Translate Wiki will be a function of how the interface will appear. So if you allow too many people to work on the Translate Wiki, a lot of people will have a different definition for different things. So we need the people who know the orthography, who know the language, and who know the writing, everything, the writing system, to focus on the Translate Wiki. But for the incubator, that's our playground. So all of us, we can just do puchu with each other in that place. Yes. So as a proposed Wikipedia, this is the stage we are in right now. So you can click on the link to view the articles we can create on the Wikimedia Incubator. So how many of us can access this document online? Because we share the link to it. There's a link to this document. Yes, on WhatsApp, even on Telegram. It has been shared. So if you can follow that one trend like that, coming down, you'll discover there is a hyperlink, there's a link down there. So that link is clickable. So once you click it, it will take you somewhere. But then we will not go there, let's finish this place before we go back to that place. So when we all put our hands on this work and develop articles either from fresh start or by copying from the English Wikipedia and translating them into Jukun Wikipedia, we will be taken seriously, and the article we created on Wikimedia Incubator can then be transferred to the actual wiki, Jukun Wikipedia and Wikipedia. That's what we'll be doing here now. We are just like, we are test running everything. We are test running it to see how much word we can put, how many people can continuously developing the words there. So what we'll be doing on the incubator is just to start. It's a start. It's the incubation stage. So after everything is been done and the foundation over there are confirmed that yes, we have active speakers who actually can read and write in this language, then you can now be given a domain that will host your own website or your own language project independently. So you can do whatsoever you like. If you like, you can just, okay, I will not say it. Let's continue. So, um, now, so anyone can be able to read and translate articles in Jukun Wapan from anywhere in the world and correct them and correct any error after registering on the Wikipedia. So, what this is saying is, whatever work we'll be doing here, for people who have access to this link, can be seeing them on real time. Everything we'll be doing, for people who have access to the incubator, can be seeing our work on real time. And if there's any correction that will be done, as far as that person has the Wikimedia account, he or she can correct any wrongs. So one good thing about this is that it is not written in stone. Whatsoever is written can be corrected. So in the course of your editing, don't be afraid or don't be ashamed to make mistakes. All right? Because those mistakes can be corrected. We have people where your knowledge stops, that's where another one's begin. Right? So whatever we're doing here, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. But then as we are doing it also, don't try to vandalize what you don't know. Please leave it. What you don't know, leave it. Yes, there's no crime to that. Because we have other people who are actually rooted in this. They know it and they work on it. They work on it. Okay. So the project Jukun Wapan language now. Let's look at it. The Jukun Wapan or Wapan language with the ISO codes 639/3. Now the language code for this one is called JUK. That's JUK. That's the language code of the Jukun Wapan. Yes, the language code for the language is JUK. I believe some of us don't even know. Wallahi, some of us don't know. I can tell you this. You know? No, you know. But some of them don't know. But today you should know it. Your language code is JUK, right? So that's the language code. If you go on Wikipedia now, you can see some information about your own language as well, written by other people that is not you. So you go there now and see the right rubbish, it is your duty to correct them. Now, it has the acronym PANZO. Is it PANZO? Okay. In Samba Leko. Oh. This one is beginning to sound like my other language. Okay. So we have is it the APAN? APAN. Exonym, right? Yes. Yes. So the exonym. Okay. Yes. No, it's not. No, it's not APAN. No, it's not. So that you will not crucify me. It is not. So, yeah, by yes. Because I'm trying to explain all of this now. We'll just be explaining it in my own terms. So let him take it from there so that we'll drink water as well. So when it is time, you come out, drink, you go and drink water. So don't shout though, don't be shouting. No, we will not shout. You are talking to take water. We are sitting. We're waiting for the time to take water. But we're coming down. Everybody will take water, just time. Because the time comes, give us water.
Okay, so every language in the world, there are about 7,000 languages spoken by human beings all over the world. And all these languages, they have what you call the ISO code. And the Jukun language has the code JUK. And you know, every language also has what it is known by other languages. For example, what is the word you call the Hausa people in Jukun Wapan? How do you call the Hausa people in Jukun? Abakpa. Bakpa. Okay, so in Tyap we call them Okpat. Okpat. Bakpa. Okpat. And then the Jew speaking people, they too, they pronounce something similar. Bakpa. Yeah. So Uh, it has disappeared from my head. But it's actually the SIL that gives those codes. The Summer Institute of Linguistics that gives those codes to all these languages. But the meaning of ISO, the thing has disappeared from my head right now. But it's like, let me not say the wrong thing, but you can browse it and see it online. You can browse, or let's do it together so that we all get to understand it better right now. So the ISO, the meaning of ISO here is, even though the ISO has, okay, the International Standard of Organization of Standardization, like there are some, like cameras also have something like called ISO. So is it ISO? Maybe I'm mixing it up, but that's not the major reason why we are here. It's just by the way. So the ISO code for the Jukun language is JUK, and the Jukun spoken in Wapa also, I mean spoken in Takum, also has its own code, which is um sir, JBU. Okay, so we are going to see all of them right here. And within the Wapan cluster itself, we have about 5 dialects, but not all of them have their own codes, actually. So we can see them listed. They are listed on Wikipedia as Jukonoid languages. And these Jukonoid languages, they actually have something in common, but not all of them are intelligible with themselves. Like the person who is speaking the Chomo Karim right there close to Jalingo may not be able to understand you, the Wapa speaker, very well, but there are some certain words that may sound alike. Like, for example, the counting. There are some, maybe number three or so will be closer to their own. But let me just say something off the book. We here, like this very Nenzit, we actually had this very identity started in the 1950s by some the earlier educated people, the people who first got Christian education in 1940s in our region there. So we had the likes of like people like Reverend David Lord, Reverend Mwaya Bagaya, and the rest of them. And they even started a party. They called it the Northern Nigeria Non-Muslim. I forgot the political party, and then no minus that very well. They started some parties to start middle better movement because they want to actually separate those people up there in the north with our people right here. So, but then this movement started, they call it the Nerzit movement. And then later on, it graduated to something called Jika. I don't know, the elderly ones among us, maybe you may have heard the Jika, I don't know. But the Jika is like an abbreviation of the languages in our region here. The J stands for language that had the J, like Jukun itself, like the Jarawa, like the J's, and then the I for maybe Irigwe and stuff like, and then the K for all those KKK like Kaje, Kata, then, and then the A for maybe Anabuta and the rest. But then the problem with this one is that the acronym was derived from the Hausa names, most of them from the Hausa names. For example, the Atia speaking people or the Atia people are not actually Kata, but the Hausas, they call them Kata. Just like you call the Hausa Bakwa, but they call themselves Hausa. We will call them Okpat. But instead of you writing something about the Hausa people and writing it with the name Hausa, you are using Bakwa. So they will reject it. The same thing with who are rejecting the Kataf or the Kaje and the rest because they don't speak about our own identity. So the Jika movement kind of, I don't know whether it's still existing. But then the name, we are looking for something that will kind of integrate our people in the middle belt here. And then we picked the name Nenzit, even though we rendered it a bit a way that the Tyap speaking people will speak it. Like the Izeri speaking people, they call it Nerzit, and then we will call it Nenzit. But I don't know how Jukun will call our people. How will you say our people in Jukun? Wapa. Bangu, Abangu, Abanue, Banue, Bandwe. Okay, so it means Bandwe. That's what in it means, Bandwe. But then it is impossible for us to actually form a word that will represent all the languages of this very region. So some few languages around that region of the plateau were picked to form this very name, Nezit. And a lot of the languages over there, they call people either Ne or Ane or Ani or Ne or Ner or stuff like that. So that's how they came up with this very one. So we are hoping that the Jukun people will also align with us, and then we call ourselves the Nezi people. So that at the end of the day, let it not be that we go to our churches and then they speak in Hausa languages instead of in our own languages. Yeah, so we are hoping that at the end of the day, because the European Union has been able to achieve something like this, they came up with a language called the Esperanto language. And the Esperanto language, if you actually study about it, it was built on mainly on Latin, but then it's not purely Latin, mixed with Germanic languages, mixed with other Slavic languages to form that very language. So you always have to have a base, and then you have to have other components joining into every language. So we're hoping that at the end of the day, as we move around this very middle belt, we get the data from all these languages, and then we cook up a new language from it. It's possible. Many have done it. Even those of us who have watched films like there are some many films that are existing that they use artificial languages that are not existing. But currently, there's a language called Clinton. Even if you are on Duolingo, you see Clinton. Many people are learning Clinton. This is an artificial language. They came up with it, they cooked it, and people are learning it. And Clinton is not the only language. There are many of them like that. And we can also have something similar so that when we need to communicate inter within among ourselves, we don't have to use the Hausa language as an intermediary language because it's totally foreign to us. It's not related to us at all. So let's get something that is common, similar among us. And among the Chukonoid languages also, we need to have something similar also among these very dialects that will be used across all of them. And as we got to know that the Wapan amongst them is among these 17 is the most spoken amongst all of them. But let it be that we have a standard Jukun language that will be taught in schools. And just like the Yoruba have also put up their own language, that language didn't exist between 1700. It was cooked up and promoted by the Bible. And the dialect that is spoken or that is used there is Oyo dialect. And the Oyo dialect was actually used initially, and then it incorporated other dialects into it. So right now we have some other words from maybe Ondo, maybe from Ife, that have been added to this very one, and they call the standard Yoruba dialect or standard Yoruba language. And we can also have the same thing, the standard Jukun language, and then we have words from Takum and words from from Pan, words from Kutep, words from Nifon, all added to the standard dialect. And words that are missing in this very one in Wapan here will be added to this very one. You don't have to call it standard Wapan. You can call it just standard Jukun language. And it actually requires a lot of work, but it requires will. If you are willing to do it, it will be done within a very few number of years, maybe 10 years, maybe 5 years, and it is possible. So this very work of Wikipedia, we are going to start on the Wapan dialect, but then I know that there are other people from other dialects that would want to participate. But please, if you are from another dialect, just do as much as possible to maintain using the Wapan, only Wapan, because the last program we had in Kwai, it was the Hiam language, and in the Hiam language, we wanted to use the Shamta have dialect, the one they speak around Nok. But then the people in Kwai, they wanted their own dialect to also be used. So at the end of the day, we had issues. Everybody wants their own dialect to be used, and you can't do it like that. One has to be used. So at the end of the day, we had two dialects, in fact, three dialects in the same hall. Mm, but then the people from the other dialect, if you want to translate a particular article, we have to translate using only one dialect. But then we're now creating another way. Okay, if you want to translate, let's say knock, for example, you put knock and then in brackets, purely or Fini, and then knock again, a knock. But after we finish the program, the ones in choir, they remove their hands totally because they are feeling like the other people have taken over the project. So let's not be like we are having the same period and the same kind of situation. Only Wapan. We are not going to mix it with any other dialect again, because we need to have uniformity. And the advantage that Wapa actually has is that, that Jukun has is that, for you to have a new project, a new Wikipedia project, you need to have this ISO code for your own language. But the Jukun dialect, they all have ISO code. That means that all of them can have Wikipedia. So by the time that, let's say, Jukun Takun wants to have their own Wikipedia, we can also start a Wikipedia in their language because they are qualified by all standards of Wikimedia Foundation. And Wapan can have their Wikipedia. The same thing happens in the German languages. The standard German was the one that started with the Wikipedia. Then later on, Plattdeutsch started their own Wikipedia of recent, maybe 2016. And then the other German dialects also have started their own Wikipedia. So right now we have at least about more than 3 Germanic languages starting their own Wikipedia because nobody wants their own language to die off. So everybody is protecting it. So I don't know, do we have the Jukun Bible or materials that are being sold that we are going to have, that we can have samples of them right here? Is there anybody who brought printed materials of the Jukun language?
We have a dictionary here.
So you have a dictionary?
We have the Bible, the New Testament.
Okay, can we have it?
The Old Testament.
We want to buy them and take them back home.
It is in existence.
No, we want hard copy.
Okay, now.
Okay.
The dictionary here.
Okay, if we can have these ones, the dictionaries and all the materials, we are going to purchase them or for sale. Okay. Uh, okay. So we want to take these ones back and keep them in our libraries. We're also going to be using them to support the project. So we are going to get. It's your. This dictionary. So we want to get all the materials, all of them. If we can get 5. So this very work, this very work. So this very Wikipedia translation work, we are going to base everything based on the dialect used in the Bible, based on the variety used in the Bible. So maybe let's assume that some of these materials are mixed within the dialect. Maybe Hone is having, Wapa is having, but what is inside the Bible or the most used material is that same dialect that we are going to be using throughout. The same spellings. For example, if we spell, let's say Wapa, Wapan. Sir? Okay, Wapa. So thank you, sir. So if we spell Wapa as Wapan, let it not be that some of us will now write Whapan, and some people will write Waphan, because a lot of people love letter H very well. So please, we spell it exact spelling. If it is capital letter W that is starting, stop using small letter W from the very beginning, because anything that you alter will affect our translation work. Even a small dot, it has to be exactly the same thing. Don't change it. And then for our keyboard, if you don't, maybe I don't know about the standard written. Do we have this tilde sign in the Bible? Since Jukun is a NASA language. Okay. Yes, I will need it. We will need it. Okay, that's but it's hard copy.
Okay, printed out already.
No.
Okay, give us
The
the sample
printed
of
one
it.
is the printed one is
The
Okay, can we
Wikipedia allow you to give us paratext?
I don't have. Except if I bring it into other software. Yeah.
No, I don't think we need it.
We don't need it.
We don't need it.
Only the hard copy.
We
The
don't
hard
need
copy.
it.
material.
We cannot use paratext.
Can we get the New Testament hard copy? I don't have the
Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Sir. So the reason why we're asking for the copy is that, Jukun is a national language. The Wapam, I think it's now. So like all Niger Congo languages are tonal languages, all of them. But Jukun is nasal, just like Edo and Igbo and Yoruba. They are all nasals too. But Tyap is not really nasal. Ju is not nasal, except Rigwe. Rigwe is a bit nasal. It's a nasal language. So, in case it is written with a tilde at the very top, like this. No, this is not tone. This is nasality. This tilde at the very top. En, in, on, in. So I don't know if this is the way Jukun is written with those tildes at the top.
We don't have to.
Okay, don't use it. No, tonation is different. This is nasality. It's not okay. So it's just written A-N, E-N, I-N, O-N, U-N.
We only have underscores and underscore.
Okay.
That underscore.
Okay, so for the intonation, you can use the African keyboard for your phones. You can go to Google Play Store and download African keyboard. So the African keyboard will give you low tone, high tone, and then you can get the falling tone, you can get the rising tone, you can get the flat. So you can do that right now on Google Play Store.
So maybe you are writing and you don't know, you don't have a keyboard that will give you those markings. The high tone, the low tone, the flat, or diacritics. You download the African keyboard from PlayStation in Google. Once you you download the African keyboard, it has all those diacritics, all those tonal markings it has there. So we can do it now. African keyboard.
Can we all take our phones and type African keyboard?
Go to your Google Play Store, search for African keyboard. Okay.
So for those of us who are using computers, you can use Keyman. Keyman will still give you the same thing. And then you can also use other apps that MBTT must have installed on your system. All of them will give us, the only thing is that African keyboard.
African keyboard.
Will the same app work on laptop? The African
No, the keyman
It's only for
will work
phone.
on-
keyman, your laptop.
Yeah.
The African keyboard only works on phones, it doesn't work on computers. But Keyman works on computers and Keyman.
Have you seen it? Yes. Go to Play Store, type African keyboard and search. Type African. Are you there? Have you seen it? Okay, to use your you have that. Okay, okay.
So if you visit the Google Play Store, you are going to see this logo.
Okay.
This is the African keyboard. There are there are a number of them bearing the same name, but this is the actual one that we use. You see this logo AK. No, it's a bit done manually. I can't be able to do it from computer.
No, when they download it, they should make it their default keyboard before this.
So if you are be able to download the African keyboard, you can make it your default keyboard before you start. You will learn how to use it. You will enjoy using it. At first, it may be difficult. Yes. But Jukun doesn't have underscore.
No.
Doesn't use underscore.
When it has
Just
flat,
toner marks.
the toner mark this way and then flat. That flat, they put the underscore. Oh,
Okay, that means you can still be able to use the Gboard keyboard as well. Just long press the Gboard keyboard. Long press letter E. It will give you low rising and then for all the 5 vowel sounds, you can be able to long press them and they will give you the sounds to make. So please let's continue. If you are on this very document, please go to page 5. You see event page. Once you click on it, it's going to take you to this very meta page that we are going to be working on. Let's get started. Page 5, but you need to be using the soft copy to be able to click on the link. But if you don't have the soft copy or your phone is busy charging right now, you can just listen and then we would actually need you when we start the translation, when we need help with translating some certain words